Max Sturtevant is a master at transforming email into a revenue-generating powerhouse, driving over $40 million for e-commerce brands through his agency. By age 21, he had already built a thriving six-figure agency and now leads the inbox community, shaping the future of email marketing for top professionals.
Welcome to the podcast, Max. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to get some yapping in.
So I think it was in February. So I launched my business, my e-com store, and very quickly realized, obviously, the importance of email marketing. And when I started to dive into this world, there was one individual that had content on a different level than everybody else that was particularly interesting.
You're too sweet.
So it's good to have you, and definitely have learned a lot from you. So grateful for that.
Appreciate that. Very kind words. Hopefully it served you well. Hopefully my manic caffeine and nicotine induced documents have helped.
Yeah, dude, it's funny how like the systematic approach you've taken to the content within email marketing. It seems like that would be the intuitive way people would do shit. But outside of you, it's very hard to find just like, all right, here's the welcome series flow. This is exactly what it should look like. And then so on and so forth. Like, it's funny how rare it is, even though it seems like it would be the simplest thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are scared to give away the sauce on everything. So there are a couple of reasons why. Either like you're too busy and so you don't put that stuff together for content. You don't think content is important enough to do that, or you just don't want to spill the sauce. And so I spill the sauce to, I mean, it's just like everybody says, like sell the information or give the information for free and then sell the implementation. Like I'll give you all this stuff. Like this is literally exactly what we do for you. Do it. You spend an hour trying to figure it out. You watch my video for an hour. You spend another couple hours trying to make sense of it, writing things out. And then you spend another few hours like trying to write copy, make sure it's good. You're looking at examples. And then you just get fed up and you're like, oh my God, I'll just book a call with this guy. And so that's just like my philosophy and like what that's for. And it's worked pretty well. And then also just like becoming an authority, like at the end of the day, like that's kind of what I want. I want to be an authority because I know it'll serve me well in the future and to have a platform. It's one of the things that I like to do, and I think it's fun. I just love content. I've always, since I was a kid, I've been creating different social medias. I've been creating YouTube channels, whether it was Call of Duty, Madden, random vlog sort of stuff. Not like crazy vlog stuff, but building Instagram pages for college football, all that sort of stuff. Like I've always done that. I've always loved content. So for me, it's just like what works the best. Giving away all this stuff, going at it with like giving away all that. And so that's just what I've done. And so I view it as a business, like the content, because I think that's so fun. I love it. I like it more than email marketing and being inside of Klaviyo. And so I just try to like do what's best. And what works well is giving away all your sauce. And that's okay because people will view you as an authority if you give away all the sauce. And people will reach out after they get tired of trying to figure it out themselves.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Definitely like even found myself in that mode a bit of just being like, all right, I'm over this. I just want to outsource this. But I definitely want to get into like the details and the thick of all the email stuff. But before that, dude, it's just like are you 21, 22?
21. I turned 22
21?
on Black Friday, so in 3 days.
Oh shit, let's go. I'm sure that's going to be an exciting birthday this year.
Yeah, it's going to be in a dark room, baggy gray sweatpants, black hoodie up, lots of caffeine.
Oh yeah, winter arc shit.
Exactly.
So wait, how do you initially get into the email marketing stuff?
Yeah, so I had my own like sort of like e-com sort of store selling sports cards. I had like an online front and everything, and I was doing social media. That was throughout high school. So like especially junior, senior year in high school. So that would have been like 2020, 2021 is really when I was doing that. And that's when I got introduced to the online money space. I'd seen all sorts of stuff on like copywriting and e-com stores, tried my own drop shipping store, of course, like failed, but I had like my sports card thing. So I was selling sports cards out of my room, doing all the packaging and stuff and running the store by myself and also doing social media for that. And that was so much fun. But then I went off to college. So I went to San Diego and I'm from Oregon. So I went to San Diego and I was like, okay, I'm not going to have thousands of dollars worth of sports cards in my room. I'm not going to sell out of my dorm room. And so then I kind of like paused that, and then went off to school. First semester, effed around, and then just like regular college stuff, partying and whatnot. Very fun. And then I kind of just like became just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I need to be doing something. I'd always had businesses. I've been working since I was like 13. So I need a job to be doing something, working towards something. So that's when I started to get in. I started to do some crypto and then copywriting stuff, anything online money. That's just what I was doing like all day, every day. That's when I came across like really actually going in on copywriting. So I had done copywriting in the past. I had my own store, but then I was just like, I could just do this for other people. So then I started doing copywriting like my freshman year, and then I had a job lined up for the summer after freshman year, between sophomore year, but I quit that. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna try to make this online money thing work and try to like get this like copywriting, email marketing sort of thing work. And so then I was just all day, every day, waking up early, coffee shops, all day, every day, 12 hours a day, doing nothing but working, grinding, getting clients. And by the end of like that summer, I was at a point where I was doing between 5 and 10 grand a month. And so I just had a knack for getting clients, talking to people, getting them to want to like hire me, just being a guy that people trust, and being like smart and charismatic on calls to like try to like get people to buy when I had zero really experience. And so that's when I started. Slowly just I was freelancing in-house for people, became the head email marketer at a few different 8-figure brands as like a 19-year-old in college, and just because like it was all I did, it was all I would really do. But still like having an active social life in college, having a ton of friends, living with college guys, being in a frat, partying every weekend, like still very active. But like when I wasn't doing that, I was working all day, every day. So I was in-house for like about a year, freelancing, and then that's when I started to want to transition to the agency sophomore year, like in between sophomore year, winter break. And so that would have been 2 years ago today, about. So I was like, okay, I'm building a team and I want an agency. I want to build up stuff and I want to stop freelancing. I want to stop doing the work myself. So that's when I transitioned and tried to like build a team and get clients for Well Copy, my agency. And that's where that transition started. Slowly started to sign clients. And then fast forward to where we are today. I'm still in college. I'm actually flying home in 3 hours from now. I'm flying home back to the family. I don't have classes this week, but now we have 30 team members. We have 50 clients or so, and we've just grown pretty fast, and it's been pretty crazy. But that's been like the whole journey, like in kind of in a nutshell. But still in college. I'm gonna finish out the year. I'm in my senior year. I have one more semester. I think it's a cool story. Started this freshman year, and by when I graduate, there's a certain number I want to hit. And if I can say, or like even if I don't hit that number, just like, hey, I started this in college. Before I graduated, I got it to this point. I had a full-time team of 30 people. I was serving this many clients. I generated this much money, all while in college, having this GPA, having an active social life. Like, you can stay in school and do stuff if you want. So that's why I'm like finishing out. But that's like a brief rundown of everything in my history.
Let's go, dude. I think there's everyone has this mindset that if they're going to be doing, large numbers per month in terms of having an agency or e-com, whatever it may be, they think that this idea of like being able to enjoy life kind of goes away. Like they have this like grind set that they kind of need to be like locked in a room and grinding all day, every day. But it's cool to see that you can, be in college, have a social life, be doing shit, and also be doing numbers. Like, I think that that's just really reassuring.
Yeah, it's like you can make time for anything. Like the day, people forget how many hours there are in a day. Like there are a lot of hours in the day. Like 24 hours in a day, put 8 of them for sleeping. So you have 16 hours to do whatever you want. Even if you have school for 8 hours a day, that leaves 8 hours of other free time that you could be doing stuff. So what I do, I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I organize my school structure to not have classes until 2, 3 o'clock. So 5 a.m. to 2 o'clock, that right there is 9 hours where I don't have class. So 9 hours, that's a full work day that most people do. So I'm waking up at 5 every day, work for 9 hours, go to class, and then in class I'm still working. And so it's like I'm getting a lot of work done. So go to class until like 6, go straight to the gym from 6 to 7, and then go to bed, repeat. And so there's a lot of hours in the day. You just have to like prioritize differently. But I like college. Like, I don't knock anybody who drops out. If I like hated my life in college, I think classes are fun, not from what I'm learning, but like the little side quests you get put on, the like group projects with random people you would otherwise never talk to, and just like goofy little stories that come up. I get to see all like my boys. I get to pass by a ton of 18 to 22-year-old people, young people, just like who are there just to have fun. Like, the vibes are just immaculate. I work 9 hours. We mess something up for 7 and 8 for like an 8-figure brand. It's been a stressful day at work. I had to fire somebody, and then I just go to class and everybody's just like, yo, dude, yeah. And then it's just like a different change of pace. It's a different vibe. And so I'm never like on campus like sad or in bad vibes. It's because like if it was up to me, like I know me, if I wasn't in school, I'd be sitting in my room all day working. And so just I have to force myself to go to class because I want to just keep working, but it really does like light you up. I get like my human interaction, and it's fun, the little side quests you get, and then also I have the goal of completing this while in college, just because nobody does these numbers while in college. I think it's very unique, and it's one thing that can like separate me, and just like a cool story to have. I'm optimizing my life for cool stories, cool side quests, stuff like that. And so this is just like one of those things. So for me, it's never really been just like I want to drop out. Like if I dropped out, I would do better numbers, but like I'm already doing like good numbers, and I'm trying to optimize for side quests. So it's like might as well just like stick it through.
What do you think waking up at 5 a.m. has done for you? Because it's one of those things that you hear people talk about a lot, like change your life by waking up earlier. There's some books on it. What's that one title of the book, 5 a.m.? Shit, whatever.
The 5 a.m. club.
The 5 a.m. club, yes. And it seems like there's like this magical thing that happens when you wake up early and you get those uninterrupted hours in while the rest of the world is asleep. What's your kind of pitch to somebody about like what you gain from that time? Yeah.
There's a really good Alex Hormozy tweet that puts a lot of this into perspective. He said, let me try to. He said, like, a lot of people would kill for the opportunity or kill for the chance to do something, but in reality, they aren't willing to wake up 2 hours earlier for it. Some tweet like that, where it's like, you really do, like, the time from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. uninterrupted. Like, imagine if every single day, every day for 1 year, you spent 4 hours uninterrupted every single day on one thing from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. One thing, 4 hours, uninterrupted, phone in another room, no Slack, nothing. You would make a shit ton of progress. And so that's like how I look at it. Like the uninterrupted hours is just absolutely ridiculous. Waking up first thing in the morning where you have a clean slate, your mind is just like blank. That's the thing with like working later in the day is you've dopamine maxed all throughout like the before day. And so it's harder to get yourself to work. It's harder to go into deep work. And I noticed this, like I was waking up at 5 a.m., but I'd scroll Twitter for like even 5 minutes or whatever, or check Slack. The thing is that sets the standard for the dopamine you're receiving throughout the day. And so that's a dopamine high. So now the rest of the day, you're trying to find that dopamine high. Whereas like if I don't touch my phone at all until 9 a.m., I get dopamine from working. The barrier for dopamine is so low that clicking schedule on a tweet that I think is like good, I get enough dopamine from that. And so I'm not like chasing this high of like social media where it's like anything crazy. And so I don't care if you're, I'm a night owl, shut up. Like humans are evolved to work well like in the mornings and get stuff done in the mornings, because at night like you need to sleep and you have different things in your brain, different chemicals in your brain. So you need to wake up, get to work when nobody's there. There's absolutely no distractions and you can just focus on one thing. It's just absolutely unmatched. And so I think everybody could agree, if you spend 4 hours every single day trying to do one thing, even for like college people, like in college, they're trying to find an internship or something. Imagine if you woke up, this is what I tell people. Imagine if you woke up every single day for the next month from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. All you did was search for internships, create proposals. You think you'd find a decent one, or at least like have a few interviews lined up? Like everybody says yes. And so it's like, it's just so, it's absolutely unmatched. And I wouldn't be near where I am today if I didn't have those 4 hours of uninterrupted work every single day. It's even harder for me. I'm on US Pacific time and my team works on US Eastern. So 5 a.m. for me is 8 a.m. for my team. My team starts at 9 a.m. And so it's difficult at times. Like, I'm behind everybody. That's why I love Europe and working in Europe. Like, I solo traveled Europe this summer. I lived in Prague. I studied abroad in Prague as well. And all this summer I was in Europe, and the time zone there is great because you get 6-7 hours of work in uninterrupted, not having to have any meetings. You don't get Slack pinged. You don't get anything. You can just work on growing your business and doing like the uninterrupted stuff that actually moves the needle. Because responding to Slack messages, as important as it is, it doesn't move the needle. It doesn't grow the business. What grows the business is the stuff that you do behind the scenes, like as the founder, to like build systems, create content, build like sales processes. All that stuff is what moves the needle. And so those 4 hours absolutely necessary if somebody wants to be successful. And they aren't willing to do that, then their odds of succeeding significantly decrease. You can absolutely be successful without it. You can be successful waking up at 9 a.m. and doing that, but your odds are significantly lower. I think everybody would agree that your odds for success are higher if you woke up at 5 a.m. every single day. Everybody would agree that. That doesn't mean it's impossible to wake up at 9 a.m., but your odds of success are a lot higher at 5 a.m. For me, I'm trying to increase my odds in every way possible of achieving my lengthy goals. And that's just one of those things where it improves. And then also, I just love it. Also, getting up early in the morning, great feeling. The amount of how accomplished you feel when you get stuff done early in the morning. Like right now, I've been up for 6 hours already, and I've gotten done more in that 6 hours than most people do in like 3 days of work. And so it's just a great feeling. Like you just feel good about yourself. And so that's one of the things I love about it as well.
I think the dopamine high before you start work is such a great point.
Nobody talks about it.
No one talks about that. And even if you don't wake up at 5 a.m., if you just optimize for no dopamine before work, that right there will fucking move the needle significantly.
Change your life. It realizing that, and I don't, like, some people mention that sort of stuff, but it really does move the needle, because like when you're in the morning, you're kind of in zombie mode as well, which I think is good. Like, optimize your zombie mode for brain dead stuff, and like get like it's so, my day goes so differently when I check my phone, even literally just like clicking my phone, and I always have do not disturb on for like until 12 p.m. Even just like scrolling under the do not disturb to like see what are the main notifications. Did I get any text messages? Like, even that, if I wake up or do that anytime before like 7, 8 a.m., I find myself with the urge to do that again, like all throughout the day. Whereas like if you just put that off, have some mental strength to not do that, you're going to not be distracted. Your brain isn't going to be as scattered. Because if I do that, I see, oh, this assignment got graded in my class. Oh, my mom texted me this. Oh, this team member asked me for this. So then my brain is just like divided. And then anytime I'm in the middle of like a deep work block and I'm kind of at like a roadblock with like a document I'm working on or a guide, my brain is going to not power through. It's going to be like, oh, let me go check this thing. So it just makes a huge, huge difference. And that's one of the main things that will really, and that's also one of the reasons I don't eat as well in the morning. I don't have breakfast. I don't eat till lunch, like 11, 12. The focus is better. I don't get like a crash. And then also that's dopamine as well that could be used in just work and like being locked in.
And so you mentioned you have 30 team members, which is something I'm particularly interested in now. Because I'm thinking about, hiring a VA and starting to outsource things a little bit more. What's that process like? What are those people? Are they VAs? Are they people in the States? And how was that whole process for you of scaling that up?
For sure. Yeah, that's the most rewarding part of the business. It's the most fun to me. Having me bringing something in, like a client, and then stuff getting done, and then clients are happy, and I didn't do anything. That's like so rewarding, and having team members being like, "This is the best job I've ever had," or "I have so much fun." Like people who like have so much fun at work, like that's so rewarding. Like I provided them with that, and that's super duper fun, and that's like the best part. So I don't know the exact number of full-time people, but full-time I believe it's 23, 24 full-time team members. And then we have like 8 or so like contractors who are like more part-time to help with copy and anything like that. And so For that, we have like in my agency, we have account managers who are client facing, and they do like all the strategy for like the email marketing. You have designers designing the emails, then you have copywriters, and then you have like Klaviyo technicians who are like Klaviyo VAs. They do all the uploading into Klaviyo and a lot of the checking of stuff. And so those are like the four main positions. Then we have my director of ops as well, who's pretty much just like my right hand man. And yeah, now we're bringing up like senior account managers as well, another layer of management between the director of ops and account managers. But yeah, that's what it is. Most people are from outside the States. Like for contractors, copywriters, pretty much everybody's in the States, besides one person from the UK. I've tried copywriters from other places. It's just like for the level of quality I want and the stuff that just needs to be locked in, you just need a native English speaker. For what I'm looking for, I've had people, maybe I just like hired the wrong people, but I've had a much higher success rate for like copywriting positions to do in the States. But really, those are the only people in the States for me. Other than that, it's South America and Eastern Europe as well, mainly. And then also Philippines. So the VA sort of roles we hire from the Philippines, and then like half my team is from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And so great people, love them. They're the best. I'm going to Buenos Aires in January. I'm going to Medellin in Buenos Aires to meet with team members, which is going to be super fun. So like we have like 10 to 12 that are from Buenos Aires, but great people. They crush it. They're awesome. So
How'd you find those people?
so it's really helpful to have a personal brand for hiring. You just get connected with people, and you can do posts on like social media. That got me to a certain point. But really, like for social media, like if you have Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, and you have a platform there, and you're looking to hire people, you're only gonna get freelancers, people who are there for like freelance mentality, and also people who aren't professionals yet. Where you get the professionals who only want to work for you and they just want to grow within a company is on LinkedIn. So I used to hire only off of like my personal brand, but that's how I get like contract vibe people who want to start their own business. They don't want to work for somebody else. And so there's just a different level of energy you get from someone like that versus like someone who wants to grow within a company and they want to work for you and they want to follow you. And so that was like a shift that happened to me after I was like a team of like 5 to 10-ish. It was like, I need professional people who are down to ride for me. They want to be here for years and years and years, and they just want to like grow with me. So that's when I really like only hired from LinkedIn for like really important roles. Only hiring from LinkedIn, Indeed, or like recruiters. So I work with recruiters who bring me candidates constantly. So they're reaching out on LinkedIn. They're running ads on LinkedIn. I run a lot of the ads, like graphic designers. I'll hire myself doing LinkedIn ads. Same as like copywriters as well. But things like account managers, where it's very, very niche. I need people with years of experience scaling e-commerce brands, using Klaviyo and working at other agencies. Like you need to have at least like 2 to 3 years. It's very hard to find. And those people who are really good, they already have jobs. If you're really good, you wouldn't be jobless looking for jobs on LinkedIn. They have jobs elsewhere. And so this is what I hire people for, is to go headhunt people, find me people who have this title at other agencies, or they have this experience on their LinkedIn profile, reach out to them saying, hey, do you want to have more freedom? Do you want to get paid more? And do you want to work for the fastest growing company in the space? And do you want to have more fun doing it? And then if somebody's open to opportunities, then we open a conversation for that. And so that's then what we're doing. So those really important positions, I work with a recruiter or recruiters to bring me candidates of people who already have positions at other agencies. But if not, then LinkedIn ads to get like full-time people. If I was just looking for contractors and I just need somebody to like plug and play and somebody who knows contracting and doing freelance stuff, then I'd go personal brand, post on Twitter, Instagram, hey, I'm looking for this role. I'm looking for a copywriter. I need you tomorrow. I need you yesterday, which I've done many, many times. Or like Upwork as well is where you can find some solid people.
And have you used like onlinejobs.ph or any of those for like VA roles? Or have you not had less luck with that?
Yeah, so VA roles, I've done pretty much Upwork and then onlinejobs.ph. I've gone 50-50 for hiring the VA roles. I mean, I only have like 5 VAs, probably half from Upwork, the other half from onlinejobs.ph. But also, like, as I grow, the more team referrals I'm getting. So if I have some badass designers on my team, usually graphic design people are friends with other graphic design people. So a lot of times team members would be like, "Hey, I have a friend who I think would be interested working here," and my team members just send me their portfolios, and then we can have a conversation. Or I just ask my team members, "Hey, we need another account manager, or we need another this. Do you guys know anybody?" And then they'll be like, "Yeah, I worked with this person at a job like 3 years ago, and they were really good. You can try reaching out." So we get a lot more of those now as well. And those are some of our best hires, are those referrals.
Do you recommend the agency business model? Like, what do you think about people thinking about getting into their own business? They don't really have the skills yet. They don't know exactly what they should be doing. They're thinking about, agencies are pretty low barrier to entry. What do you think? Do you think it's a good business model?
I think every business model is a good business model. The only bad business model is trying to make a decision on what business model to choose. Like the longer you put things up, you learn the same things in every single business. If I talk to an e-com owner, if I talk to somebody who runs a different sort of agency as mine, if I talk to like a freelancer, when we're talking business, we're saying the same stuff, the exact same stuff,
yeah.
just slightly different like mediums. So you learn the same stuff. It's just like pick one. You're going to be successful. You can be successful with every single one of them. Could I possibly have been more successful if I chose, instead of an e-commerce email marketing agency, if I did like a info product funnel building model and I did that? Who knows? Maybe I'd be a multimillionaire if I did that since day one, but I'll never know. All I know is I picked my model. This is what I'm choosing, and I've learned like a crazy amount of skills, and eventually over time, you will see success as long as you stick with one thing consistently and you have 100% conviction that you're going to be successful. So just pick one of them. Agencies are great. There's pros and cons for every business model. Agency models are great because you can start out with no capital, start out freelancing, and it's literally just a service. It's just like, hey, let me do your emails, and I don't need to do anything. I can just like run their emails. I'm not having to pay for products. I'm not having to pay for stock, like with e-com, for example. And you learn like every single possible skill with the agency. You have to learn copywriting. You have to learn sales. You have to learn marketing. You have to learn building a team. You have to learn all this stuff. So for anybody starting out, I think agency is one of the best business models to be your first business, just because you have to learn absolutely everything. Like e-com, you don't have to learn like as much B2B sales as much. You're just doing like D2C. Whereas like e-com, you have to do everything. I have to know how to do D2C. I have to know how to, like, for my e-com brands, I need to make money for them. So marketing to customers need to make money. But I also need to know how to sell e-com businesses. I need to know how to get customers to buy e-com products. I need to know SOPs for team members. I need to know leadership and all that stuff. And so you learn everything, but it's a lot slower. That's the thing. You can make quick cash. You can make quick cash on rev share deals, building funnels for info products, but those are all very fleeting. And it's very hard to build a sellable asset as well. With my agency, I can also, like, it takes longer, you might make less money, but you're also building up a sellable asset. Where as you build the system and as you keep growing, you can sell your agency for millions and millions of dollars over the next few years. And so you're also building that sellable asset. But I've learned absolutely everything about everything from the agency business model, and I wouldn't change it. And I wouldn't change it for anything. But yeah, agency's great. Like if you want to like have success in the long run, I think like long run, agency is the best business model. It's not a get rich quick thing. If you're looking to get rich within a year or 2 years, you're not going to. You're going to be let down. Don't choose agency model. If you want to get rich quick, you're not going to, but go look for something else. If you're in it for the long game and you just want to build skills and you want to also have a sellable asset, you still can make like a lot of money with agencies. Like you can do well for yourself, but it's really for the long-term thinkers.
Yeah, it's so funny how all those skills are so transferable across whatever the domain is, whether it's the podcast taught me so much about e-com. E-com taught me about podcasting and, just everything in between. And that spreads across almost everything. And one of the things, one of those like big picture things that applies to almost everything is that 80-20 rule. What do you think the 80-20 of email is for you?
Literally just having all the bases set up. Everybody tries to complicate crazy
like flows?
Yeah. Flow. So the bases, this is what I mean. pop-up form, have a good pop-up form. Have your base flows. So things like, so the base flows in my eyes, welcome flow, site abandon, browse abandon, cart abandon, checkout abandon, post purchase. Have those 7 flows. You don't need 20 emails in each one. Just get like 2 or 3. That's going to carry you a lot of the ways. And send at minimum 2 email campaigns per week to your list. If you're just consistent with that, you have those bases of pop-up form, campaigns, flows. You're sending the bare minimum there. Your emails are at least semi-creative or good with copy and design, then you're going to be really successful in the long run. Like, you don't need to worry about hyper crazy segmentation. For my 8-figure clients, we literally just send to our engaged list. Just 90-day engage. Have you opened an email in the past 90 days? Cool. We'll keep sending you emails. If you haven't, we don't want you. And that's just what we're sending to 3 to 4 times a week. Then we have these base flows. We add some more advanced stuff over time. Then we just create really freaking good emails with really good copy, really good design that subscribers want to stay subscribed to. And so they keep engaging with our emails. It helps our deliverability. And they're always just like making positive associations with the brand. Then we make a lot of money. That exact setup that I told you, we use for an 8-figure brand and make over 50% of their total revenue for. So it's just that simple. Don't go too crazy. Don't get overwhelmed with a lot of the crazy stuff. That's really all you need.
And so base flows, let's say an e-com owner doesn't want to hire an agency and they want to just get it right. Base flows, shameless plug for you here. You got a good little how would you describe it? Like just a Figma document with all of them kind of templatized?
So wellcopy.net/flows. It's just like a super long document breaking down all those flows, every single email you should send, and the topic of each email examples, time delays, the full strategy we use for our 7 and 8-figure clients. Breaks everything down. There's also like an hour-long video that goes along with it. So lots of good stuff there. When I came up, nobody did this sort of stuff, and so it really is super valuable. Like all the stuff that I put out on like with that sort of content, like it's free except for I ask for your email. So give me your email.
And then with pop-ups are an interesting one I've been thinking about a lot lately because I really want to use Amped, which they got purchased and they're currently not taking on any customers, and so
they're on MailChimp. Yeah,
what?
they actually are now. If you want to, on
Are
MailChimp.
They're back.
Yeah, on MailChimp.
But if you're using Klaviyo, how does that work?
You can now. They weren't going to do it, but I think they just received a lot of backlash. so now you can. You can also use Alia. So ALIA. That's another platform. Pretty much the same thing as Amped. We use that for a couple clients, and we see good.
How do you spell it again?
ALIA. It's alialearn.com. Great team, and pop-ups perform great. They're just like Amped. They were great. But yeah, pop-up forms, biggest low-hanging fruit with the majority of e-commerce brands that I look at.
Yep.
It sounds funny, but pop-up forms really are that big of a lever. Most of the forms I look at are like 2% converting. You take a form from 2% to 8%, which is kind of where we want to be, 8%. You 4 times the list growth of your email lists. So you 4 times the list growth, and in turn, your email revenue over the long run. Like 4 times just by taking it from 2%, where most people are at, to hitting KPI of like 6 to 8%. And so a lot of times we come in, update a brand's pop-up forms, they 4x their list growth, and they 4x their like welcome flow revenue as well. And their cost per acquisition goes down because they're driving a ton of ad traffic. People would otherwise just like leave. No, now we get their email, and now we're able to send them emails to try to get a sale. And so cost per acquisition goes down. They're getting more out of their ads, and then we also have their email. And so we're able to remarket to these customers, get repeat purchases and everything. And so it really just all relies on like that pop-up form. How good can you get it? How much can you squeeze out of your ad traffic to get more out of your ad traffic to then get people on the email list and be able to continue to sell to them?
Is it one of those things where, you've been doing this for a long time at this point, and there's almost like one template that for you just outperforms everything? Or does it depend on the business model? or on what they're selling?
Yeah, so there's like one main thing, like the main sort of pop-up that we really rely on is a micro commit pop-up, where it's literally just like, rather than most pop-ups that you see, it says like, hey, sign up for your email for 10% off. And then it's just like an email box. What we see crazy amounts of success with is a micro commit. So rather than asking for the email right off the bat, your pop-up says, do you want 10% off? And then it just says yes or no. And the person just responds yes or no. Majority of people just say yes, and then you ask them for the email. So it's unclear in the first step. If there's like an email, it's just like, do you want 10% off? And you're like, yeah, I do. And then it asks for email. Humans, just psychologically, we have commitment bias. Once we start doing something, we commit to doing something, we're much more likely to follow through. And so adding that step, super funny. You're like, why does adding a step help conversions? But it does, because that person feels like, I'm already in, I might as well just enter my email. And then they enter their email. And then after they enter their email, it's like, finish signing up by entering your phone number. And then you're like, I've already gone this far, might as well get the discount. And so that just works really well. And just keeping the pop-up form as simple as possible. Stop with all the BS. You're going to receive exclusive updates and access to new jobs. Shut up. Like that all that copy scares the customer. Everybody knows what they're getting on an email list. You don't need to tell them that. All people care about is a discount. They don't care about anything else. So you just want to say as little words as possible. I'm talking 5 words on your pop-up form that just says like, claim 10% off, or take 10% off, or do you want 10% off? Like literally that's it. Do not include anything else. It will hurt your conversions. Just discount. That's all people care about. Make it big and clear for them. You enter your email, you get this big discount. They know what they're getting. They know they're going to receive emails from you. You don't need to say any of that other BS.
And where does SMS fit into this picture? Is that something that like right off the bat, e-com owners should be using?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to build up your SMS list. So SMS is a lot different than email. Email you can send 4 times a week and like you're good, but you can't do that for SMS. It's a lot more intrusive. People will get a little bit more upset because messages, everybody checks all their messages all throughout the day. And it's a little bit more intrusive. So you can only send like once per week maximum. And you can only send like important stuff. You can't send nurture content over SMS. People are going to be like, what are you sending me? They only want to know about deals and discounts. Whereas like email, you can send nurture content, such as like, here's how to use this, or here are tips and tricks for this. Yep. But like SMS, you really can't. You just want to send your offers, new product drops, things like that. So absolutely SMS.
And how does SMS affect your flows? Not your flows, I'm sorry, your pop-up. Like, do you do like a multi-step? Or
yeah. So after somebody enters their email address, then you say finish signing up for SMS. And so finish signing up for your discount with SMS. If somebody closes out and they don't enter their phone number, they're still going to get the email with the code. Oh, okay. But you just say like finish signing up with SMS. And so typically like an average form for us, for our clients, would be like, we have the micro commit step where it's like, hey, do you want this discount? About 40% of people who see the pop-up will say yes. And then probably around like 10% will fill in their email. And then probably 7% will end up filling in their phone number. Just like that's typically what the fall off looks like.
Got it. Sweet, dude. And one of my favorite things that I've seen you do, and I think this is a good way to just tie together the conversation, is these videos you do talking about bad marketing. And just in the sense of like these big brands that you would think would be super dialed, but then you break down their email, their pop-ups, and what their emails look like, and they're kind of trash. It's really funny with these big brands, and like you kind of expose how much money they're leaving on the table, and it's one of those things that really makes you scratch your head and realize how ineffective a lot of big companies are.
Yeah, big companies, like especially corporate companies, like the people who are on their marketing team, their marketing directors, like they just don't know this stuff. They're not up to date. Like they're not up to date with like all this stuff, and so they just like don't know what they're leaving and how to do like these intricate like micro commit pop-up forms that can take your form from like 3% to 8%. They're just not up to date with this sort of stuff, and they have bigger stuff that they're doing. Whereas like, and so it is kind of crazy. So they miss out on like a ton of revenue. A lot of stuff like with their emails, they're super out of date. They're missing certain key elements. Whereas like if it is pretty crazy. I don't understand why they don't bring in like actual email experts rather than just like I'm an expert at marketing. No, you can't just hire an expert at marketing for email in different channels when there's so many nuances that really can make a huge difference. So every big brand, you need to either work with like a really good agency or bring an email specialist in-house. Like you need to have like especially if you're on the level of like Gymshark, Lululemon, those
Yeah.
types of brands, like you need an email expert because email is a channel that can generate you 20 to 50% of your total revenue if you do it right, just by fixing these little nuances. So you need to have those experts who actually have scaled email. They've done it for hundreds of other brands, or else you're going to be leaving a ton of revenue on the table because the 1% optimizations for massive brands are the difference between hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, that 1% optimization. Whereas like for like a e-com brand that's 7 figures, that 1% might only be a difference of like $10,000. But like for a big brand, it could be a million. And so you really need to have those optimized. So it's a mystery to me. I don't know why they are so behind on like all their emails. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's a great reminder for how the just how things aren't like these big brands. They aren't perfect. There's a lot of things that people are leaving on the table. Max, anything we haven't talked about today that we'd be remiss if we didn't cover?
Let's see. I don't think so.
You been trading any meme coins lately?
Oh man, no, I haven't. I just auto invest. I just auto invest Bitcoin in the S&P 500. I just auto invest every day.
See, that's a wise man right there.
Yeah, just because the amount of mental bandwidth it takes to learn about this stuff and then gamble, and then whenever I invest in a meme coin, because I've like definitely done it in the past. I used to trade NFTs as well. Every single second, every minute that you hold something when you're day trading or anything, every second you're on edge, and every second it's in the back of your head like, oh, where's it at now? And so you're always wanting to check it. So that distracts you from everything that you're doing. So like all of my friends who are into crypto and also online business, how crypto's been blown up for the past 2 weeks, they haven't done shit in their real business, and
Chill,
they've
dude. That's me. Stop calling me out.
yeah, it's just because you're just your mind is occupied on this. You're always
Oh yeah.
thinking about the other stuff, and so it
I
distracts
talk
you.
about that dopamine high.
Yeah, exactly. And so you like it's super fun. Like it's fun as hell, and so I don't knock it, but it just the mental bandwidth it takes for me, where even if I buy a coin and I'm like I'm gonna have this for a week, every single hour of every day I'm just on edge, just being like, oh, is this gonna tank, or like, oh, is this gonna pump? And then like day 5 it hasn't done anything, I'm just like, oh, come on. And then it just takes away my focus from other areas of my life. So that's why I don't do it. And I follow some meme coins pretty closely, just like curious, and just me being like, I would have invested at this point, and then just like watching how it moves, just for fun, but not having any skin in the game. Just because I'm a very risk averse person. I don't like risk. I do not like it at all. It scares me. And so I'm also just very risk averse, and so I just don't really do too much of that.
Sweet, dude. Well, this was a fun one. We definitely have to do this again when we have a little more time to talk, because there's
Hell
so
yeah.
many different alleyways we could have gone into. But appreciate you, and
Appreciate you having me, man.
wait
That was
for
fun.
the content, bro.
Hell yeah, brother. Appreciate you. Cheers, man.